never stop. For my kids and all the years I've been grinding to reach the top. No fear, no shedding tears, keep pushing beyond the limit. These fighters beyond timid, can't hang with me off the rips. I big dog them all through the city. Say New Orleans my home. I dream of fighting in domes. You can't step in my territory, you won't make it home. In this world I'm a champion, Rougarou on the throne. High bask in the ambulance, they gon' need them an ambulance. Nice and last in my walk through. Flat on the beach, it's gon' cost you. Call it gon' cost you. Call it a champion, Rougarou on the throne. High bask in the ambulance, they gon' need them.
Oh, what's up? What's up, man?
I like that introduction, man. That was cool.
Dude, tell me about it, man. I love it. I can still hear it in the background. Oh, yeah.
That's how much I like it.
I like the introduction.
It's loud.
Dude, tell me about it, man.
Oh, that's Lou's phone. Turn Lou's phone down.
Oh. That's how much I like it.
Wow.
Exciting.
Well, thank God we're going to call Guido here in a little bit from your phone because
My phone works.
is that yours again? Is that his phone again?
I can't get my phone to work ever. Now it's working.
There we go. All right. Well, we're finally.
That was not me. That was DeMarcus. I had nothing to do with that.
DeMarcus
It's still
needs
up.
a raise.
What is that?
No,
Is that yours, DeMarcus? That is Lou. Dude.
I don't know.
Wow. Lou's phone is a trip. Can you imagine dealing with Lou on a day-to-day basis with his phone in his car, everything?
Should be so lucky.
Yes, I can.
No, you done
He
it.
does,
You
man.
done it. All right, y'all. Listen,
Even when he's not
we're
here.
up and running. It's 8:01. Good evening. What's up, Gary Salusi? Thank you. He's always joining in, like Gary. Welcome into Lights Out with Lou Savarese, show number 19, and it is packed. We're excited for tonight. Obviously, Grant Miles is not here. We are joined by DeMarcus Jones, second time on the show. Thank you, Mr. DeMarcus, for joining the
A
show.
vat
Thank
of
you
boxing
for having me.
knowledge.
Yeah, man, like an encyclopedia of boxing.
Yeah, and you just said something before about him after dealing with my phone, but also I call in threes. I call because it takes me 3 times to remember what I was going to say, so I would call him a lot. Usually when he's sleeping.
Yeah,
Accurate statement. This is 100% correct.
just lean up on it.
Yeah.
You can adjust that if you want to.
Oh, cool.
I'll do it later. Well, I'll do it now. Let's get this fixed for the whole show.
I don't know a lot of technical tools. Yeah, you're doing a good job.
Oh, there
Nice,
we
good,
go.
good.
There we go. Yeah, that's the wrong one. God damn.
Oh my God, we got Ray Charles fixing his.
I should have fixed this earlier. There you go. Man, we got it now. Anyways, Grant Miles, obviously,
Oh, boy.
he's out of town on his new job, but welcome into Lights Out. Lou
Nice.
Savarese, Lou Skinny Jeans Savarese today.
Yeah, that's my nickname, Skinny Jeans.
Whoa.
I always wear skinny jeans, dude. I'm just
Dude, you're like 6'6", 240. What with skinny jeans?
when you're 6'6", 240, all jeans look skinny.
Marcus is like, yeah, he is.
I'm just a slave
Oh,
for
man, if
fashion,
y'all are
dude.
watching this show live, you got to see it. But imagine Lou Savarese, go to his Instagram, see him in a white bikini, and imagine
Oh my
him.
God,
in
you're
skinny-
obsessed with that picture, man.
I'm not obsessed
I'm
with it.
gonna
That's
frame it and
Grant's
send
doing
to
it.
you.
That's
Nah,
Grant's doing it.
Whatever.
Very fashionable. Skinny jeans, leather pants.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
whole nine.
He's Ross from Friends.
I don't know about that. I take that.
Oh, man, but welcome in, y'all, again. We are live from Savarese Fight Fit. One of the trainers over here. Awesome to have DeMarcus Jones on here. And obviously, man, you do an incredible job with these kids and with adults, too. You guys have an incredible center here, Lou. Like, what goes on and where can people find you?
Well, we have a kids camp going on right now. It's been really cool. It's been real successful, and then we have this. This is fun for me, and DeMarcus handles it on Saturdays. We have sparring now, and all the kids come in, and we make sure nobody gets hurt. If it takes a long while before they can actually spar with each other, they just spar with either myself, DeMarcus. DeMarcus gets a lot of the pros in here. It's really cool. Just this week, you had Jacob Barry, right?
Yep, just this weekend we had Jacob.
We've had Miguel in there. We've had Shockey in there. So these guys, it's pretty cool. You know, he's from the rough streets of West Jew, and they're sparring with champions. It's really neat.
From the rough streets over here in Bel Air, West U, there's two Savarese Fight. Well, there's Savarese Fight Fit, and then also you have the main
Main
gym.
Street Boxing.
My partner, Bobby Benton.
Yeah, Main Street Boxing downtown.
Business partner, not life partner.
Life partner?
I said not life partner, business partner, not that.
Oh.
But if I was, it wouldn't be my guy.
No? That's not your type?
Bobby.
Not Bobby?
I'm not right here. I'm not right here.
No. DeMarcus is like,
But he's a nice guy,
what did I get into? Lots of boxing. There was some good UFC. We're going to get into that this past weekend. We'll talk about that a little bit. There's a lot of boxing going on. And speaking of your gyms, you have some people from your gym fighting this weekend.
Yes, we do. It's going to be, as DeMarcus will tell you, Miguel is fighting.
One of our newer trainers, Miguel Flores, is going to be on the Jamal Charlo card this weekend at Toyota Center. That's Saturday the 19th.
And the thing about Miguel, I mean, literally, I can't remember being in the gym and not seeing him ever. And he's still like 20-something years old. How old is Miguel?
28.
That can't be, dude. I've been seeing him for like 35 years. How could it be?
He's also got that whole baby face.
I've never not seen him in the gym. I can't remember.
He's 35 years old?
No, he's not 35, is he?
He's 28.
No.
He hasn't looked that old either.
Even 28, I wouldn't. I'd have thought 22, 23 years old. You know, he obviously boxer, incredible. Miguel Flores, look him up on Wikipedia. Incredible boxer. Faced some incredible opponents.
We got a matinee idol. Looks good looking dude. He really.
Yeah, we've had him on the show before. He called in, talked about his brother. His brother passed away in the ring. Yeah. We know. Just a great guy too.
Bobby was in the corner when his brother Benjamin passed away.
Yeah, I mean, incredible guy. Grant Miles is on. Lou sounds great if you like not being able to understand what someone's saying. It's fantastic.
It's hard enough to understand me with a good connection.
Yeah.
It just takes some time. I am fluent in Lou.
Wow, it's bilingual.
He's a little staticky. We'll fix the little static, but appreciate you, Grant. Grant Miles is out of town, like I said. We DeMarcus here taking his place. Like DeMarcus took my place when I was sick, but Grant is going to call in a little bit and give us his history, and we're going to go over some stuff.
Is he?
He's in LA right now, or in California. I don't know. He's on the show listening.
I don't see him being a West Coast type of guy.
He's not, and we'll bring that up. Like he is not. I wonder. Like I don't think Grant fits in the West Coast at all. But we'll see. He'll be joining us here in a little bit. Also, Lou's gonna have a phone call, which we have a new segment on the show where Lou randomly calls one of his friends from New York or from wherever.
New York. He's from the Bronx.
Calling somebody from the Bronx tonight should be interesting. But let's get into some boxing. That's why we're here.
Oh boy.
Let's do it on this card, Charlo card. This weekend. What do we got going on?
So the main event is Charlo and Juan Macias Montiel,
who had a good win.
Last win he knocked out James Kirkland, who's known as being a really big, tough guy. Kirkland's only other loss, I believe, was to Canelo.
Whoa.
Yeah. But Kirkland's a Texas guy too, right?
Kirkland's a Texas guy.
Austin
trains from Austin. Yeah, trains with Ann Wolf.
Ann Wolf, right? Yeah, that's right. Wow.
Super tough lady.
Oh man.
And Macias is known for being like hard hitter, rugged, tough. So he's supposed to represent a good challenge for Charlo.
Charlo's on the list. I mean, short list for big fights. I would think.
So is this a challenge for Charlo? Because he's got a pretty big name in boxing. He's on the second tier probably as far as names are concerned. Is this a challenge for him?
I don't think so. I think Charlo's got the style and the power to deal with it. Like Macias is going to be in his face. He's going to press him. He's going to pressure him. But I think Charlo, he understands that an impressive showing, he can get that Canelo fight he's been chasing, that Andre fight. He can get one of these bigger name guys to fight him if he can raise his profile this weekend.
DeMarcus, is it me, or I'd like to ask your opinion? Do you think that the jury's still out on the Charlo brothers? I mean, I know they can fight, but I just think that people are waiting for them to have that huge name in that fight again.
Yeah, jury's still out because neither one of them have had that big signature win. They beat the guys they're supposed to beat, and they look impressive doing it, but they need that name on their resume to entice some of these other guys to get in the ring with them.
So this is, I wouldn't say it's a setup fight because this guy's only loss, right, is Canelo.
No, his last win was a big win.
Yeah.
He beat Kirkland.
Yeah, and then he beat Kirkland. And so I would think that, but his name is not, not out there as some huge name. He's probably third tier as far as names are concerned.
Yes.
So maybe if he beats him, maybe the Charlo, maybe he will get a big name fight.
If he knocks him out, and especially if he stops him early, like inside 5 rounds, he definitely get a big fight.
But they're on the list anyway. I mean, especially Jamal, he's on the list to get the big name.
Well, let's go down the list. Then you've got your boy fight, Miguel Flores. How's this fight going to go? Who's he facing, and how is this fight going to go?
So this is a bit of a comeback fight for Miguel. He's had a couple of setbacks, but against top-tier opposition. I know one of them, he lost to Leo Santa Cruz.
Yeah, we know about him.
Yeah.
Okay,
So looking at this one for Miguel, just to sort of
who's he fighting?
Shake the ring rust off, Don't know.
I gotta look up Grant. You're who's Miguel fighting? I gotta look at the card. It's hard to find the card for the Toyota Center this week.
Yeah, especially that he's on the undercard.
Yeah, he's on the non-televised undercard, but still big showcase
Did
for him.
you say there was a problem with the opponent? Or?
Toyota Center, a lot of people. Yeah, it had
Miguel's,
changed,
Okay.
but I believe they had a new one for him.
Which is very commonplace for undercards and boxing matches.
While we're looking up the undercard, speaking of changes, Teofimo Lopez tested positive for COVID. So the fight that was going to happen this weekend is now off. The fight versus George Kambosos, and now it is moved to August 14th.
Is it me? Is COVID kind of yesterday?
I mean,
I was,
yeah, in another sport, like there's other players like Chris Paul for the Phoenix Suns just got tested. Well, he's in the COVID protocol now, and they're in the playoffs and about to go to the Western Conference or in the Western Conference Finals. So that's all of a sudden like these weird cases. In golf, what's his name? Brooks, not Brooks Koepka, but DeChambeau got pulled from a tournament, and right in the middle of him playing for COVID. And
Really?
it's like weird that these random athletes are getting
why
pulled
can't you
out.
still play golf? We got COVID. Just
Nobody stands around you.
caddy, man.
Your caddy, yeah. But it's just been awkward. So I don't know. But Teofimo's out. Out of this weekend's fight, and so it got moved to August 14th. How do they do that? They just tell everybody the whole card.
Yeah.
Sometimes, especially if it's like the headliner, like the one that people are there to see, then the whole card gets moved, and they normally compensate you for having to do that. Or sometimes if it's somebody lower on the card, they just scrap that fight, which is what happened to Miguel, which is why he doesn't have an opponent.
Okay.
It's still listed as to be announced.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So we don't know exactly who's going to do that.
I've been at the weigh-in one time for a USA bout, and the guy literally we went to the weigh-ins. It was at the Pasadena Convention Center, and we got there, and the guy said he thought he was going to be paid more money, and they wouldn't pay him, and the fight got scratched that day. And I had family flying in from New York. It was terrible.
Oh, so your fight got canceled too?
The day of.
Oh, wow. No reimbursements?
No. We were at the because I was the what they call the A side, and he just didn't fight. He said he thought I was gonna be lighter.
Holy crap!
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's a lot of money. I mean, back then, I'm sure flights,
especially for the promoter, because he's putting up the money and doing that stuff. That's happened to me as the promoter. I mean, guys pull out, guys got arrested on the way to the weigh-ins. It happens.
Well, now the fight will be moved to August 14th, so we'll gather up more information on all the undercards and the Lopez
True
fight.
story, a little bit. It'll probably be my book, Everything You Didn't Want to Know About Boxing More. But Nagy Aguilera, one of our trainers, he had a fight in New York, and the guy came in, weighed in New York, they weighed the commission, left the weigh and went and held up a CVS, got arrested, didn't make the fight.
Wait, what? What did you just say?
The guy left the weighed in for the fight.
You have got to be kidding me.
I'm not.
What?
Can I
Hold
make
on.
that up?
Rephrase that whole because you what?
The guy was supposed to fight Nagy. He left, did the weigh-in, then went to held up a CVS, got arrested, and couldn't fight.
So I mean, look, I'm not gonna knock anybody's hustle, but wow, was he not getting paid enough for the fight? The weigh-in's generally the day before, right?
No, the weigh-ins in New York, it's the day before. Yeah, day before. Well, the day before or the day of?
Yeah, day before.
Oh, yeah, day before. But they used to be, believe it or not, they were day of. That's what happened with Joey Gamache. Yeah.
That
was New York.
This dude weighed in the day before. He probably made at least a few grand. Like at least, pay some bills.
Yeah, probably.
And went and robbed a store.
CVS, yeah.
A CVS.
Yeah.
How long ago was this? CVS is not old.
No, this is probably 50. How long has Nike been fighting? Probably 15 years ago, 20 years ago.
Where'd CVS come from? Remember always Walgreens? You loved Walgreens.
Always
Walgreens was the bomb. And then
Well,
all of a sudden
maybe this
someone
guy-
came up with CVS and then they were everywhere.
Yeah, maybe this guy owns stock in Walgreens. Who knows?
Hey,
I'm going to say probably not.
I wish I knew that guy's name. Grant, if you're out there, I know you're listening before you get on. Find out, before you come on, find out who robbed.
There's guys.
You fight Nagy?
Yeah,
Fight
there's
Nagy,
guys that
yeah.
had to be pulled out of crack houses to go to the fight. I could tell you stories, crazy stuff.
You have stories for everything, man. I just
Boxing,
like,
anyway,
yeah,
I write my book.
it's
I tell
crazy.
you
Some of the,
everything you didn't want to know about boxing and more.
I can't wait. I'm excited. When are you going to do this book? Are you already started it?
Yeah, it's in my head, but I can't write it. I need a ghostwriter.
We're on episode 19 of Lights Out. That means 19 weeks we've been doing the show. I mean, this is probably only one
I should be up
chapter.
for sainthood, man. Wow.
Sainthood.
Yeah.
You went 52 weeks. Now you're on 54 weeks sober.
Yeah, something like that.
54, 55. You lose count after.
Well, he is the big.
I think I'm on week.
May 24th.
I think I'm on week 3.
Congratulations. buddy.
Yeah, I think it's week 3.
that's a lot
I
of
don't, but I don't really drink hardcore anymore. Like I used to drink shots and shots and shots, and like I'll sit down with some Trulies or whatnot in my garage and bullshit. But I don't hit the liquor anymore. Like I'm glad they came out with those Truly seltzers. Probably saved a lot of people's lives because I mean instead of
I'm gonna
vodka.
say probably not, but
Well, what's better for you, like a vodka and OJ, like a triple vodka OJ, or just a 1 can of Truly?
do you ever stop at 1 can of Truly? Stop lying.
No, but I'll drink like a
be
6.
Truly.
No.
Let's not.
Truly.
I'll drink like a 6-pack of those instead of like
Bullshit.
six shots, 2
Bullshit.
beers, and whatever.
Yeah.
No, I don't shotgun drinks anymore. But whatever, different. We'll get back to some boxing. Shakir Stevenson beats Jeremiah Nikalitha. This fight, I watched the I watched the lead up to this fight. I didn't watch the actual fight. Shakir Stevenson has been. It's hard. It's very hard to say this, but he's been like compared to Floyd Mayweather. As far as the beginning of his career, people forget that at the beginning of Mayweather's career, he was knocking people out cold. And he always faced the good opponents. And to start off his career, what's he, 15, 16 and 0?
First 15 fights for Floyd were all knockouts.
And people don't realize
Man.
about Floyd. He wasn't a huge seller in the beginning because I remember some guys that did some shows for him back home in Detroit, and he didn't. He wasn't a big seller, but he built his name up and did it the old-fashioned way, man. Just got people behind him.
Yeah. So this Shakir Stevenson kid, he's amazing. And now I wanted to ask you about this. I put this in the notes as soon as I found out you were on. He wants to fight Oscar Valdez, and is that the fight for him?
Yes. That is the fight for him to sort of validate himself. Another one of the guys similar to Charlo, similar to Devin Haney.
That's on that second tier, and that fight would put him on the first one. What's the what's okay? So Shakir Stevenson, obviously, Max Kellerman came out and said this about Shakir and about Floyd, how the top 5 greatest fighters started out, they had the best defense ever, and their offense just accommodated their defense. Like they just had incredible defense that's in his terms, like what he was saying, and it made sense. And that's why he compared Shakir Stevenson to Floyd Mayweather, because his defense is phenomenal. But he says this Oscar Valdez kid can punch like hard, and so that would be that. Like as far as entertaining wise, that's the fight you want to see.
Oh yeah, it'd be a big clash. Like not only can Oscar punch, but he's tough. He's gonna come forward, and he's skilled. He's a skilled brawler. He's not just gonna swing. He's gonna be a good fight.
I mean, I want to see it because
say that again. What you said before? I'm sorry. You said Kellerman said that
his top five fighters of all time. Yeah. All had just incredible defense. They weren't just power guys. They just all had incredible defense.
I mean, even a guy like, I'm not putting him as top 5, but Tyson, people don't realize, they all talk about his punch and power, this and that, but he had great defense, too. He kept those hands up really good, moved his head real well, too.
That's true. A lot of people, I mean, you've actually been in the ring with him, but like, and other power punchers with Douglas and Foreman and Holyfield, like, people forget that Tyson did move quick. Like, he was hard to hit. And he was like a bulldog.
Yeah, he kept his hands up. I mean, he kept it right. He called it the peekaboo style. That was from his trainer.
Oh, is that why he kept doing this?
Yeah, it originally started with Floyd Patterson, because Patterson had what they call a glass jaw, and Patterson he kept it, he did, but Patterson was.
I thought you were going to talk shit about me. I thought it was coming.
His jaw wasn't like that, but I mean, he had what they perceived to be a weak chin, and so that's how Custom Auto came up with that style. He called it the peekaboo style.
And what was the other one that Foreman had?
What the style he had?
The crab.
That was
cross arm guard. That came from Archie Moore.
Archie Moore was the mongoose. Became his trainer later in his second career.
And he adopted that style of crossing the hands, both of them up here.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I remember later in his career, that's what he did. He would just kind of walk up on you like that, and I mean, he's so big.
But the thing that, for me anyway, that really transformed him was his jab. He had no jab when he was first fighting, and then Archie gave him I bet it goes down as top 20 jabs in history. I mean, probably top 5.
Foreman's?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, his jab, it was just amazing.
They call it a telephone pole. It was long and stiff, and he could control guys with it. Like, he doesn't get enough credit for being the smart boxer that he was.
That was his thing when he came back. That's a great point. I mean, he was the two things that made him on his comeback was he was so relaxed and he was so smart in there. I mean, he would anticipate better than anybody I've ever seen. He would kind of know which way I was moving because I remember.
How old was he when you fought him?
42, is that right?
And he won in 44. He won the heavyweight 44.
No, he won the title at 42
from
Michael Moore.
Yeah,
because
he was the oldest heavyweight to win at that time. Is he still the
he's
oldest
still
heavyweight?
the oldest heavyweight. At that time, he was the
That could be
oldest title
debated too because
holder.
they didn't have birth certificates back then. But people say Archie Moore fought until his like 50s or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, nobody
Walcott
really knew how old Sonny Liston was either.
Yeah, sure too. Yeah.
Sonny Liston,
They
man.
didn't have birth certificates that were so formal as they are now.
But Foreman was the oldest until Bernard Hopkins broke his record. So Bernard Hopkins is the oldest to ever win the world title.
Another smart guy with great defense too.
Well, I mean, going back to what we were talking about defense, Shakur Stevenson, he beat Jeremiah Nakath this past weekend, and he wants Oscar Valdez, which we said would be fun for boxing, man. That would be fun. There's all these amazing fights that are coming up, man. Like that are. I hope that boxing gets this right. And we talked about this last week. And you weren't on the show, and I wanted to ask you this. What do you think about boxing having a commissioner? Like, one person that tells all. Like, even Bobby Benton accidentally called Lou, and he was like, fuck that. Like, But some people say that boxing might need some sort of ruling.
They do what we talked about before, but they do have, every state has a commissioner. We have Greg Alvarez here. Every state has a commissioner. So I don't know if there'd be one. It'd be really hard to have one sanctioning body. And just like
A sanctioned body.
Yeah, just like the YouTubers, it's kind of I'm torn between that and because it gives guys a lot of chances. I mean, you get other belts, regional belts, so it's nice to have those accolades,
Yep.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
Agree with Lou. I see both sides of it. Like one singular governing body could help solve a lot of problems, especially with champions. You look at so many divisions; they've got a regular champion, an interim champion, a super champion. And it's so many that sometimes it devalues being a world champion.
I think a lot of people get confused.
I would love to see if we did have one, it'd be somebody with maybe a former boxer or a boxing background, something like that. Be kind of cool.
Yeah.
We had Floyd Patterson in New York, was the commissioner of New York when I was fighting. It was really cool.
Yeah, it means if you had somebody like that, I mean, not De La Hoya. We also, what happens to that dude when he drinks and smokes weed or whatever? That dude got, I mean.
That happened. What are you kidding me?
Oh, it's sorry. We're talking to Lou. It weigh-ins with people robbing CVS's. No big deal.
Hey, it happened.
Last week, called somebody that robbed a lumber truck driving it around New York. That was, I mean.
You're a porch, dude. What are you going to do?
God, the stories that come out on this show is why I love it, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. We're over here at Savarese Fight Fit with Lou Savarese. DeMarcus Jones joining us. Grant Miles is going to call in here in a little bit. We've got him for his history. Man, welcome to the show again, DeMarcus. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I got an interesting subject for you. Povetkin is retiring.
Yeah.
Calling it a day. He's a heavyweight. Where does he rank, Lou, as far as heavyweights are concerned?
In what sense? I mean, he was a tough fighter. Don't get me wrong, but he, and don't forget to back up a little bit. He's probably, I don't know how many, but the Russians have so many, like the Cubans, they have a lot more amateur fights usually than the Americans do. So he's probably had a ton of fights. I can't do it now, but I'd like to ask Grant to tell me how many fights this guy had, amateur and pro. Can you Google real quick?
I got it.
What?
I want to see how many
amateur fights Povetkin had.
Yeah.
Real quick, Patrick Harrell says Larry Hazard, the commissioner of New York, robbed Lou Savarese of the George Foreman fight.
I will second that.
I can't.
I've watched that fight about 100 times.
He was the commissioner of New Jersey.
Every time I'd say Lou won that fight.
He won the fight.
True story, man. This is going to be in my book. I probably shouldn't say it, but this is a true story. Hazard, if you watch this, Hazard went over. He did something really, really egregious. He went over to Foreman. I didn't see this till probably 5 years after the fight. Went over to Foreman, said something to Foreman, and Foreman got this big smile on his face. Yeah,
really?
Really messed up.
Man, I hate that because it throws more shade in boxing. It goes back to the commissioner.
It was a good fight.
You fought incredible, and as a matter of fact, that could have changed your entire history of your boxing career.
Did Hazard have a little bit of a police record?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, only in America can Hazard. I mean, listen, he's a commissioner.
How many commissioners in New York have police records?
He wasn't New York. He was New Jersey.
No.
Hazard was New Jersey. Right?
There's a big difference.
Yeah, way big.
From us here in Texas, we know.
But then Don
I don't know.
Don King, I mean, one of the most prolific promoters of
He was a crook.
Well, he wasn't really a crook. He killed a guy. He was a.
Oh, I mean, sorry, my bad.
honor amongst these. The guy owed the money. He was a Shylock. He was whatever. He lent money to people, and what do you call that? Shylock, loan shark.
Loan shark.
He was a loan shark, and the guy didn't pay him back, so he killed him.
Well, hey, there you go. I mean,
that'll learn him.
Yeah, that'll definitely teach him. But I mean, going back to what I was saying, that Joe, like to regress before the Povetkin thing, that fight, if you would have won that, would have shifted your entire career.
We don't know, man. Doesn't matter.
I mean, you don't know. You're right. I mean, who knows what would have fought after that? What would have happened or whatever? But I mean, a win over George Foreman would have been great. But you went 12.
It was almost a win anyway because nobody gave me a chance. I mean, everybody thought I was
Sure.
knocked out, and they didn't know there's some, big dumb white guy, and they were kind of right about that. But I could fight too. But they anyway, so we went on, and it was, even though we lost, we still had a win.
If y'all don't think Lou can fight, go watch the Lou Savarese George Foreman fight. But before you do that, or after, go watch the Lou Savarese Buster Douglas fight. That is phenomenal, the way you knocked him out.
That was surprising. I was more surprised than he was.
It was clean.
The
It was
cool
real
thing about
clean.
That fight was that we worked on that one thing, and it just happened. That's very rare that you work on something in boxing, and it literally to a T it happened. And I had a great trainer. I also had a great strength coach who helped me with that, Tim Hallmark. I don't know if you guys remember, but Tim was most noted for putting the weight on Holyfield and worked with a lot of guys. He had a gym here in Houston called, I believe it was Workout, etc.
Well, getting back to Povetkin, thanks, Grant. Of course, our stat guy, Grant Miles.
125-7.
Yeah, 125.
God.
Yeah, 125.
As an amateur?
Yeah, as an amateur.
Did you hear that? Wow, 130. That's a heavyweight too. That's a lot of amateur.
Yeah, he's a heavyweight. Yeah, and he was 41. Povetkin, 41 years old.
Retired at 40.
Pro fights.
Pro record, 40 fights, 36, 3, and 1.
That's a pretty good record, right? That's incredible.
Too. Povetkin fought a lot of guys.
So yeah, Povetkin retired.
Good losses too.
It's weird to see people retire now because people are coming out of retirement in their 50s, and this guy's 41 saying, "I'm calling it a day."
I've been getting calls from crazy promoters about fighting.
Yeah, I mean, look at all these fights. Like I mentioned it the other day. I'm sorry, but that Mayweather fight was entertaining. It was. Mayweather was clocking this kid, and everybody wanted to see this kid get knocked out. But he went 8 rounds with him. Now look, Floyd is 44 years old.
I'm sorry, I didn't find it entertaining.
You didn't?
No.
I thought it was.
About as much as Jokic. Yeah, it was really entertaining.
So, I mean, look, the numbers still haven't come out, and like you said, I think Showtime actually dropped the ball on a bunch of people having to watch the fight, something like that. So we'll see what they actually make. But these Paul brothers, we're gonna see what actually becomes of them as fighters. But man, they do give it their all. The guy went in there and went 8 rounds. He was about to die afterwards, but I mean, at least he trained and went in there. Not a lot of people could do that.
One thing with them, and I hate to admit it, but here at Savarese Fight Fit, one of the jobs is I teach our youth program. At least 10 of our teenagers came to our gym because they saw Logan Paul or Jake Paul.
I love that dude. He's the best.
They're like, that's what got them into boxing.
There's a bunch of Mercedes parked outside because Logan Paul's fighting.
JP, LP, Logan, Jake Paul.
I'm gonna tag him like now. There's Mercedes out here in Bel Air, and there's a bunch of ritzy Rolls Royces right, and their kids are all boxing now because Jake and Logan Paul are fighting. But hey, and we've talked about this many a times, like whether it's good or bad. I think it's great for the sport as long as the fights that the public wants to see happen. As long as the true boxing fights happen, because for 20, 30 years, some of these fights hadn't happened. You've got fights that you've always wanted to see that just didn't happen because of promoters arguing, lawyers getting involved, commission, whatever the case may be.
Like Lennox Lewis, Riddick Bowe.
Boom!
That
Wow!
should have happened.
I'm sure you could probably name 20
That
of
would have
them.
been a great fight. Really
But we'll see what happens.
Style-wise, everything. They fought in the amateurs, but Bo became such a much better fighter as a pro.
One thing that is going to happen is Mike Tyson is going to fight again, and he's come out and said Lewis or Holyfield. I know Holyfield's fight's coming up in a couple of weeks.
Holyfield's fighting McBride, right?
Yeah. And then I don't know if Tyson's going to wait until after Holyfield's fight or just lock in a Lewis fight. I wouldn't fight Lewis. If I was Tyson, I think I'd still be scared of that dude. Because I bet Lennox Lewis comes out and he's in shape.
I think,
you kind of look like Lennox Lewis.
I was going to say, I think the opposite.
You do?
I don't, Holyfield's got a fight coming up, so he's been training. Tyson's been training, despite, what happened with the Roy Jones card, he looked in phenomenal shape for his age.
Have
You
seen
haven't heard.
Lewis?
Yeah, I was gonna say we haven't heard anything of Lewis training.
But on the flip side, I trained with him. I was in 3 camps with him, and the guy, he was just a stickler for, being in shape. I've never seen beside him or Axel Schultz were the 2 best running heavyweights.
Really?
I've seen. Oh,
Wow.
Man, they used to run that.
And I knew that about Lewis, that he was an avid runner.
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
really
yeah.
believed in that.
Yeah, and then Axel Schultz, I was running with him one time, and we were in the Black Forest, him and his trainer, and they took off, and I couldn't keep up with them. Do it, and I wouldn't yell. I know, and they never. I walked around for like 3 hours in the Black Forest. It was scary.
He did a lot to be in the era of heavyweights that he was in.
Who, Schultz?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But
Axel Schultz.
Yeah, he did not really beat.
I love that name.
He did not really beat Foreman.
No.
Eddie Murphy made it famous.
Really?
He did. Axel Foley.
Okay.
Beverly Hills Cop.
Cop.
Oh, that was amazing. All 3 of them were good. I'm sorry, the third one was a little cheesy.
I was gonna say,
Weren't
the
they in
first
like a
2.
Disney World theme park or something by the
So
third one?
When I went to spar with Schultz, my manager, Bob Spano, said, "Yeah, go out there." I said, "You're gonna be sparring in Berlin." I was like, "Oh, cool. I've never been to Berlin. I really want to go." I remember I flew over. I was sat with this hot chick, and it was Maka Doibna. She was she had just sang in the. She was a opera singer. It was pretty cool.
Man, the first time I ever went to Germany, I was 16 years old. I went to go play in a basketball tournament, and I flew through New York, and then it was the first time my mom gave me money. I took a taxi cab around New York just to go see. It was like $100.
You went for? Did you say basketball?
Basketball tournament, and then so when I got over there,
Me going to play for a chess tournament. Jesus Christ.
I cannot wait to play you.
You have a much better chance to beat me in chess than basketball. I guarantee it.
I actually am not bad at chess. I can play
I
chess.
figured I can see that.
No, dude.
Nerd.
Can I get in on this basketball game that we're
Yes,
referencing?
let's go. Yeah, you are in. So I go over there and I land and I get off the airplane and there's guys walking around with machine guns. And this was
Where was
1993, and I'd never seen anything like that before. And they're just all walking around like it's normal in the airport. I'd shocked the shit out of it. I was like, what? Like they're just all walking around with AK-47s.
Before you interrupted me, I was going to tell you my story about Germany too. So anyway, we flew into. So
You told yours, by the way.
I didn't even get close. It's not. I just got there.
You said Berlin and then you stopped.
Because you started talking. But anyway, don't worry about it. But so anyway, my manager told me we're going to be training in Berlin and everything. So I get there and there's a guy holding the sign up with my name on it. I get in the car. He drives for like 2 hours, like 90 miles an hour. And we wind up, we trained in this place. It was called Frankfurt Oder, not Frankfurt. And it was up by the Polish border. It was crazy. But nobody spoke English. So I called my trainer and I called my manager. I said, listen, man, I'm the only one out here. Nobody speaks English. They're really not being very nice to me. The first day there, which is unheard of, they had me spar with him 6 rounds.
With who?
With Axel Schultz.
Axel Schultz.
Axel Schultz.
But then they're like, next, and some other guy comes in, and now I'm getting paid just to spar with Schultz. And you remember the 2 brothers, Tangston and Tursten Meyer?
Mm-hmm.
They were both Olympians. I got to spar with the other one, so now we're going on 9 rounds. That's
Jesus.
Then, so he's done. I'm getting ready to go out. They go, next. The other guy comes in. Like, as soon as he came in, I just nailed him in the balls as hard as I could. He was back.
You're like, I'm not fighting anymore. That's another thing I forgot about Germany, the Autobahn. I'd never been on anything like that in my entire life. They just fly down there.
We stayed in this place for like 3 weeks. It was terrible. And Pi came over there. Oh, man. He was
No, yeah, that was the first. I've never seen no speed limits.
Yeah,
Absolutely insane. Like you just get on the freeway and it's like, so one car's going 70, the other one 130, one's going 40. It's fucking
the
wild.
other thing I remember too, the subway system was like it was not subway, it was above.
Yeah, the rail system.
The rail system, but it was kind of an honor system, you know.
Yeah, you just got on wherever.
Pi like, oh shit, I haven't paid the money. And then
Lou, how old were you when you went over there to Berlin?
Probably 26.
Holy shit!
It was fun, man. We were,
The wall was still up back then, yeah.
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 It was, yeah.
Okay.
We had a good time, man.
Oh, awesome! Great stories.
Pi came downstairs from getting ready to eat. He goes, "Oh man, I can't believe that man. That Fonzie's smart." I said, "What?" He said, "That Fonzie's smart." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Man, that boy speaking German because they had him dubbed in. They had Happy Days dubbed in.
Happy Days.
Yeah,
Fonzie.
Fonzie
The Fonz.
He goes, "Boy, that Fonzie's smart, man. That boy speaks German." I said, "Oh, come on." They dubbed it in.
Patrick Harrell says, "I was wondering if you know why Frank Bruno was getting some fight offers."
Because he's big, he's huge, he's got a good name.
And he's super popular
Yeah.
They
in his
said
home country.
true story. They said if Bruno would have won the Tyson fight, the Queen would have had to move. They said he would have been
Really?
Yeah, the nicest guy. When I lost to Tyson, big name. He came over.
Let's
shook
get
my
real.
hand.
You didn't really lose to Tyson.
Whatever.
That was the most awkward fight
I didn't
ever.
win. I didn't win. But anyway, it was so nice. Bruno came over to me, shook my hand, said, "Don't worry about it." He said, it was really nice, really nice.
If that happened in
respect it.
today's boxing, would that be a draw, or would you get a win, or would it still be a loss?
It'd probably be a no contest.
But I mean, by the letter of the law, it would probably be it'd be no contest, and then by him hitting he would probably
The ref, no,
yeah.
the ref. Just a wild fight. And of course, afterwards, the famous "I'm gonna eat your children" comment. Were you there in the ring, or did you leave before that comment?
We left before the comment. I believe. I don't.
Golly, that was awkward. Man, we got man, we're already more than halfway through. We got a lot of stuff to get to. Let's see. Next thing, Deontay Wilder's press conference. This was just awkward.
That's an interesting young man.
He is and is he interesting? First of all, Wilder and Fury have had their first press conference, and it couldn't have been any stranger.
Yeah, he stood there and stared at each other.
It was fucking weird. I just don't understand. Is he putting on a front? Is he trying? Lou, there's mind games, right, in boxing. And before you go on, is this his mind game with him? Because
you have to have a game face. You have to keep it. Stare down is a big part of it. There's a kid that trains with him. Who's the little guy? He's got the best stare down ever.
Oh,
him and his sister.
Yeah, Henry and Shelby.
Man,
Henry cannot break him.
It's crazy. I can outstare anybody. And he's just
but he had on headphones, sunglasses, just jam, and you could hear the music, just jamming. He wasn't going.
That's disrespectful.
Part of it with Deontay Wilder, though, and a lot of it, especially in the early days of Tyson, was that power. Like a lot of people say, they were so afraid of him, they lost before the fight started.
Yeah.
Deontay Wilder was the same way, but when he lost to Tyson Fury, and the way that he lost, a lot of that aura, a lot of that mystique is gone. You've got no reason to be afraid of him now.
I talk a lot of same thing with a lot of guys. Once they get hurt, people realize, oh wow, they can be hurt.
Well, this fight though live up to the expectation because obviously Tyson had to back out the other. See, I'm with you on that. I don't know if this fight's going to be what's Tyson Fury wants to be 300 pounds for this fight. Can you believe that? That's what he said. He wants to be 300 for this fight, and that's what he's going at. That's what?
Ridiculous.
No wonder he looks so out of shape. If you watch some of his boxing videos, the man looks big. And I'm not talking in a good way.
He says he's going to be 300 pounds.
Yeah, that's what he wants to fight at.
That might be his excuse just not to get in shape, so that doesn't sound good.
Yeah, so this is their third fight. First one was a draw. Was it a draw? First one was a draw. The second one, Fury won in round 7. 7. So, and now he says he wants to be 300.
What are the odds? I'm curious.
I don't know, Grant. We're about to pull Grant in here in a minute. You guys go ahead and call Grant if you can, and we'll get the odds on that fight. But I would take Wilder at this point.
Nah.
No? Mm-mm. Have you ever gambled?
Yep.
Do you win in boxing?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll have to talk before the fight. I did call. I called. I called the fight. What?
I said I can't imagine Fury not. He's got plenty of time. He's not going to be in shape. That makes no sense.
He says he literally says I want to be 300 pounds for this fight, and that's what he's aiming at. And then you have this wild, weird press conference. I just think this is a lot of.
Vegas has Wilder as the underdog. Wilder's at plus 220, and Fury's at minus 275.
And Vegas knows.
That's pretty close.
It's pretty close.
That's not. The only closer is if you go to 130, 140, 150 plus or minus. But the plus 200s. I would have thought they'd have it at 300 or 400s. Tyson Fury's way.
Maybe they're thinking the same thing as you. If the guy's saying he's coming in at 300 pounds.
300, man. You ever fight anybody 300 pounds?
Yeah. I don't know. Let me think about that.
That's huge. God, both of y'all are big.
Only guy I can think of that big was, remember Nikolai Valuev?
Yeah.
He's from the East. That was big old.
The guy got hit in the head with a discus, man. He had a big... I'm not kidding. You pulled the picture of him?
He was not an attractive fellow.
Oh, my God. He had seriously, I'm not kidding. Look, he had a crease in his forehead.
Man.
But he was 7'1" and 320 pounds.
Well, let's bring in Grant Miles from the West Coast. What's up, Grant? Can you hear us?
Hello.
Oh, we're waiting. I got his picture. I can see him, so we're waiting. We're waiting to get some audio. Grant, let us know when you can talk.
Just do audio if you're wearing a Speedo or something. I don't want to. gross.
No, the only you wear the Speedos.
I don't wear Speedos, dude.
Was that little bikini bottom not a Speedo?
That was for a picture. It was a modeling.
But was it a Speedo?
No, it was a pair of Dolce & Gabbana underwear.
Oh, that makes a little bit more sense.
Big difference.
Can Grant hear us? I mean, is Grant there?
That's not a great picture, but he's a big dude.
I don't hear Grant. We're still waiting on audio. But yeah, the obviously the Dante Wilder press conference couldn't have gone.
That's Viola. And he had a huge.
Holy crap!
And he
How
fought
tall is he?
David Hay. And
He
David,
fought that dude?
Yeah, and David Hay is not a small man. David Hay is 6'3".
He got a disc.
Yeah.
And David Hay beat him.
And he beat Holyfield, though, right?
Yeah, but Holyfield won that fight.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
Dude, that guy's big.
he's huge. He's scary.
7 foot and 320.
Wow.
Wow, that's
And
just
he hit a fat 320.
that's just a big guy. While we get it straightened out, you want to call Guido?
Absolutely.
Let's call Guido.
He's not watching.
You know who Guido is?
I've heard stories.
Oh man, I can't wait for this.
Oh, Guido.
Oh boy.
And just Lou using his phone in general is comical. Just put the speakerphone next to the put it.
Call Guido.
Oh boy.
Let's see how this works.
Now we can
put
hear
the bottom
Grant.
of the phone on here.
Like that. He's probably sleeping. He's old now.
Guido.
Yeah, how old is he? He's older than me. He's born. Hey, what you doing, man? What you doing?
You know, dopey.
Dopey.
You better watch it, man. I
love it.
So wait, you were born on Halloween, right?
Halloween, yeah.
October 31st. So you'll be 60 what?
You just called the man and you just calling his age out on.
You asked me how old he was. How old is he going to be? 50, 58?
Doesn't matter. All I know is my hair isn't as gray as yours, bro.
Yeah.
I like
At
it.
least I have hair, dude. Let's go out. Hey, and his son's my godson. He got the two both beautiful boys.
Awesome.
Guido's a phenom. I mean, he's not the prettiest, and he somehow, this girl had really bad judgment. Beautiful girl, and ever since then he's dated beautiful women and married a beautiful girl. It's unbelievable.
What's up, Guido?
Hey, how you doing?
What's up, guy? What am I, on a podcast?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, you are.
Welcome to the show, Guido.
I'm not gonna out you. Don't worry about it.
Listen, I just want to clear one thing up.
Uh-oh.
It's not gonna be good.
His whole life.
Oh boy.
What? What'd you say? I didn't hear it.
All right.
He's gonna clear something up. He said he's known you his whole life. I want to hear this.
He's jealous of me because I dated out of my league my whole life.
I said that.
Yeah.
You said
You
that.
just said that.
Yeah, he did give you a compliment on that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I also said he's the best white break dancer. I did say that. Didn't I say that? That's true. He can dance. The guy can dance.
Can you still dance, Guido?
I
I
doubt
can
it.
dance, but
It's probably not up to date. He's probably like doing the Running Man, the WAP and stuff.
I can still do those.
He was a big whopper.
See, we called it the hammer. We didn't call it the running man.
Oh, really?
listen, I'm just waiting to break out my Z Cavariccis and my Capizzios.
Dude,
Yes.
wait, Uncle Lou, but his dad and my uncle, he always said if you keep it long enough, it comes back in style.
That's true.
What's going on with your haircut, right?
Well, I'm pretty sure your skinny jeans Guido, he's wearing skinny jeans right now. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, I'm just a slave to fashion.
At least he's not wearing Lululemons and Uggs.
It's close, bro. It is close.
Dude, there's very few people
DeMarcus is like, I've seen it.
I can pull it off. Not
You probably get a discount at Lululemon.
No,
You date the girls that work there. Discounts.
How old are the boys? You got Dominic. How old is Dominic now?
20 and 17.
Oh, my God.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Guido was, I taught him how to ski, too.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
What are you talking about?
Who taught you how to ski? Who taught you how to ski?
You call that teaching me how to ski?
Whatever. You skied after I taught you. What?
You left me on the hill for 3 hours.
Whatever. I taught you how to ski.
Did you take him up there, drop him off, and say, find your way down? Because that's, yeah.
Hey,
I'm not going by yelling, are you all right? You all right?
I'll tell you a good Guido story. He's the only guy I've ever known to bring a BB gun to the ski. He was shooting religion teachers from the chairlift.
What?
Yeah, he brought a BB gun to the. What was that? You shot.
It's actually not a
what was
bad
her name?
idea.
What was her name? The religion
This is
teacher. Who?
Burrito.
Yeah.
Mrs. What?
I can't remember her name, but she was a big one. He couldn't miss, not like picking a big target. But yeah, he
Remember
was.
the time we jumped off the
We had a fight.
Sterling Forest?
We had a brawl. These guys yelled something. We jumped off the chairlift, chased them down, and then had a big brawl. It's hard to fight in ski boots.
What have you not fought in?
The
Jesus.
guy I was on the chairlift was holding me. And it kept on getting higher and higher. I was yelling at him, like, let me go.
Oh, he's holding you up while you were like this. The chairlift is going up. And you just like,
It was going up.
let me go.
Yeah, we had some.
Awesome. Hey man, Guido, it's good to hear from you. Thanks for joining the show.
Well, he was probably the reason for 90% of my fights.
That's awesome.
At least, because he was always there where it was like, what's wrong?
Oh, your street fights.
Yes, yeah. Oh my God. And then he'd bring all his friends up from the Bronx, and they turned out fighting with our friends from upstate. It was crazy, and I was bouncing. It was terrible.
Yeah, I'm sorry if you're watching. My workout was changed, so.
What?
Oh, he couldn't watch. He was working out, so he couldn't watch. But
working out? What do you mean working out? Like you actually work out now? It's about time. Oh my God. You gotta see this kid's body. Oh
Listen, when we get a better
it looks like
get me back on the show.
it looks like the grimace.
tell him, Guido, we'll get you on. We'll have you call in Skype next time, man. Maybe next week.
All right, brother.
I know nothing about Skype. I love you, man.
All right, that's Guido. Guido from New York.
The Bronx.
Guido from the Bronx. We'll have him on again.
And Yankees.
Next time, man. Maybe next week.
Can we hear Grant now? Grant, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Oh, you sound good.
You sound good, Grant. How's the West Coast?
It's the West Coast, man. I mean, it's
Gotta wear your mask everywhere.
well, man. You know what? They finally took that mask order off yesterday. So I went out.
You
to
look
eat
so
with-
much better in your mask. I'll be honest. just saying.
You know what's funny is I can't understand you when I'm sitting next to you, and I can't understand you whenever I'm.
I said you look so much better with your mask on.
Why you say it like that, man?
Good times. Hey man, I'm glad you're safe out there. It's good to hear from you. Wish you were here, but we understand. You got things
What
to
are you
do.
doing out there?
Well, Jeff told me he'd much rather have DeMarcus on the show, so I said, "Screw you, man. I'm out of here."
What are you doing out there?
I'm pretty awesome.
I love
Can
it.
you tell me what you're doing out there? Something to do with cars or what?
Yeah, so I got my other gig. I got a new job, and so I'm out here training.
Congratulations, buddy.
Huh?
Congratulations.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thanks, man.
You working the pole or what are you doing? Hey, it's a tough time out there.
I get it. I get it.
Kids got to eat.
Like that. You'd like that, wouldn't you?
Fans only.
No, good.
I bet Lou has a
Bad
fans only. Only fans. Only fans.
Dude, Lou, you should get a only fans. That would.
What is
Dude, you'd be
You
so
should not
rich.
do that.
What
Come on,
is
Please
it?
do not do that.
Get
I'm not. What is it?
somebody
What is
get.
it?
You could take your Instagram.
What
photo.
is it?
It's
You know what it is. Don't act like you don't know what it is.
It's an internet streaming service that a lot of people use to make money where they
wear scandalous or no clothes
Get out of here.
or videos. Yeah. And you pay. So apparently on this site.
Oh my
you
God! What
can-
is the world coming
people
to?
subscribe to it.
Oh,
they will
it's
pay you
huge.
money.
Really?
Yo,
Yes.
and you can put your own price on this thing. I'm not even joking. You make your own price. You can
This is
say,
correct.
"This is in order to get this picture from me, it's going to cost you $1,000." All of a sudden,
You're
ding, it hits your account.
Me and Sigmund, I did some freaky shit. Me and Siggy.
But
I
that's
knew
what
it. I fucking knew it. I knew it.
Why don't y'all tell him this? He's gonna do it now.
Pat is gonna get me
Oh
tomorrow.
man, I can't wait till Guido comes back on. Grant, thanks for joining in from the West
Thank you,
Coast,
buddy.
man.
Have a
Appreciate
safe
it.
trip.
No, we got to hear his history.
Oh, sorry.
That's why Grant's calling history, and we're going to talk a little bit of boxing.
Is Lou done with me? Lou's like, oh,
No,
thanks
no.
for calling in later.
Yeah.
Hey, take your mask off too.
Let's go. I want to hear this history. So does everybody else.
No, it's good, man. All right. So, of course, June 13th through the 19th, we always do the week. So that's what we're looking at now. So, June 13th, 1908, about the time Lou was born. Canadian champion
Yeah, listen.
Tommy Burns KOs Bill Squires of Australia in the 8th round at Newley Bowling Palace in Paris to retain the World Heavyweight Boxing title.
Wow.
It's cool. I remember Tommy Burns. I don't remember the Aussie.
What's that?
I said I remember Tommy Burns. I don't remember the Aussie's name. We have a picture of him.
That's because Tommy Burns lost the title to Jack Johnson shortly after that fight, actually.
Now, June 14th, 1934, American boxer Max Baer KOs defending champion Primo Carnera of Italy, 11th round at Madison Square Garden for the lineal world heavyweight title.
At the time, Canero was the tallest heavyweight champion ever, and then they actually did a kind of a movie about him with Jackie Gleason, and they called, I'm trying to think of the movie, but it was loosely based on his life. It was pretty cool.
Nice. You got a book coming out of you, hopefully.
But Primo Canero, yeah, he was really a
Wasn't he?
Trump. They just kind of built him up, and it was kind of a he was kind of the mob had him, and they supposedly just built him up against bumps.
June 15th, 1951, Joe Louis scored his last knockout victory versus Lee Savarese in 6.
Wow.
Interesting.
So it wasn't his last win.
That's what I was gonna say. How many fights after that?
2. He fought 2 after that. They were unanimous decision, and then he lost.
Who was his final loss to?
I'd have to look that up and tell you. I don't know.
Marciano?
No, Marciano. That was his last fight, was it?
Joe Louis last fight?
Marciano felt so bad.
Joe Louis last fight, yeah. Rocky Marciano, that was his loss.
Yeah, I should know that.
TKO in 8.
I'm Italian.
Between them two, we're not going to have a show. Or we'll have a really good one.
Yeah, he beat Caesar Bryan and Jimmy Bivens at unanimous decision. He lost TKO. So
cool. I really enjoy your history.
Thank you, man. I enjoy you being a part of it.
Thank you.
Let's see, June 15th, 1984, American boxer Thomas Hearns retains WBC light middleweight title with 2-round KO of Roberto Duran.
Yeah.
At Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. It marked the first time in his career Duran was knocked out.
And he fell face first.
That was his first time, really. Wow.
Fell face first. I remember that.
And he fought some guys up until then. Wow.
That was those were brawls.
Yeah.
Duran, jeez.
See, Duran was probably one of the top 15 best lightweights ever. But
oh yeah.
I mean, he shouldn't have been fighting up at light heavyweight and things of such. I mean, he fought Barkley at what, light heavy? Or?
Super middle.
Super middle.
Man.
And he beat Iran Barkley.
Yeah, that was a fight.
We had Iran Barkley on the show. Grant was here.
I think DeMarcus and I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, go ahead.
But July 10th, there's a school teacher out of the Bronx who's doing something for Barkley and helping him out, and a bunch of guys are going. I'm pretty sure me and DeMarcus are going to go up there.
Oh, man.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, Barkley, incredible human being. And if you don't know, man, go back to our podcast. Go look it up. Iran Barkley's on the show. He's phenomenal.
That was so cool.
Great to talk to him.
That was awesome, man.
He was an awesome guy.
Well, don't they also have a movie out about Roberto Duran? It's called Hands of Stone.
Hands of Stone.
Yeah.
I want to see it. It's got.
I'd listen to our podcast first, though.
Huh?
I'd listen to our podcast first before I go watch the movie. Get Lights Out with Lou Savarese.
You heard about Jeff's new movie, right?
Oh shit!
Chin of Cotton. You know that? Chin of Cotton.
This guy. and you're wearing. Oh, Grant, dude, you're missing. He's wearing skinny jeans, bro, and I mean skinny jeans, like they're tight. I don't even know how he got them on. It's crazy.
I've been watching. I heard y'all talking about it.
That's a little bit creepy if you've been watching my skinny jeans.
I can't see him. Stand up. Let's see him.
Yeah, they show off these skinny jeans, Lou. No, you can barely stand up. See how long? Dude, he looks like... Remember when they dressed up... Remember the old school Hulk things and they dressed up Hulk in those tight jeans so he could rip them? That's what he looks like. Look at it.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no! Oh, we're going viral.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my
There it
God. He's doing the splits in skinny jeans and sandals. Lou Savarese, ladies and gentlemen. God. Did that just happen? Like, that's the end of the show.
That did just happen.
Let's go home.
I would love to say that was out of character for Lou.
But it's
it
not.
is in fact not.
And look, it's very hard. It's okay. So I've done sober dancing. I haven't done sober karaoke. That might be the first sober split I've done.
Yeah?
Yeah.
In skinny jeans.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Definitely my first sober split.
Dude, next week, Grant, this is what we're gonna do. We're bringing a karaoke machine in this, and we're bringing, and you're gonna sing. Who's it? You sing all the time?
Tom Jones.
Tom Jones, and we're gonna have just Tom Jones karaoke sober.
Don't look at me.
That would be fantastic.
We're doing it. I'm going to buy the karaoke machine when I leave here.
Oh, boy.
All right, let's go, Grant.
You know where Tom Jones is from, right? The Welch Rabbit.
Okay.
It was Welch.
It's awesome.
Fantastic. Let's see. June 15th, 1985, Pinklin Thomas KO's Mike Weaver in 8 for the heavyweight boxing title.
Hercules, Mike Weaver.
And Pinklin Thomas, and I think the Marks would agree, I'd say probably top 10 hardest jabs and probably
yes.
top 25 jabs. Yeah,
Damn.
Really good jab.
Yeah,
Fast,
powerful
accurate jab. Mm-hmm.
June 15th, 1987, Michael Spinks TKO's who?
Mike Tyson. Just kidding.
Oh, no.
Jerry Cooney?
In 5 for the heavyweight boxing title.
Good one, buddy. Yeah, and if that was in the beginning if that was when Cooney was on top, and Cooney would have.
Oh, Cooney knocks him out.
Crushed
Cooney
him.
knocks him out.
Cooney is a dear friend of mine, great guy, one of the greatest people I've ever met. He had some drinking issues, and probably before the Spinks fight, he was probably partying up until the fight. You know,
His whole when we had him on the show, the other show when you came on SWB, and when he called in, his whole life story, everything. I mean, it's an open book now.
Yeah.
Incredible human being. Like, I mean, just a great, like, the things that he's been through, like,
people,
awesome.
Yeah, people, I love, even more than pro fights, I love hearing about, like, sparring guys, things in the gym, and everybody, guys that have been, Eddie Gregory, guys that have been with everybody and say, guys that have sparred with Tyson or fought Tyson, they all say Cooney was the hardest puncher ever with his left hook.
To this day, still has one of the best highlight reel knockouts of all time when he got Ken Norton. Oh, yeah.
That was sad. That was bad.
Mm-hmm.
That was scary because Norton was a little bit past his prime, and the referee probably got in maybe 3 or 4 seconds too late. You know.
Ouch.
Yeah, and Norton was sitting on the ropes, and we got to do that when we can get when we talk about stuff. We get get it up on the TV.
Yeah.
Cool.
No problem.
Show it tomorrow.
Well, I mean, we got it up with Grant's history done, but yeah.
I didn't know that.
But we can't just automatically pull up random stuff.
Dude, come on, man. We got to step it up.
That's Zach right there,
I just
Max
did a
Sports.
split, dude.
That's true.
Yeah.
So you did the split. It's a live camera. We can get anything.
Guys, we got nothing to do later. Am I looking for my
Can you
testicles?
believe that, Grant? Did you see that?
Saw it. No, I'm sitting here. I'm actually watching on Max Sports.
Hey,
It
man,
was
find my
amazing.
testicles.
Hey, Lou, you know Jerry Cooney? I didn't know that. You never talk about it.
You're pretty
All right,
funny.
so
But looks ain't everything.
we're going to go next to June 17th, 1954. Rocky Marciano beats Ezzard Charles by unanimous points decision in his 3rd world heavyweight boxing title defense at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, Charles was
Ezzard Charles was so good.
Yeah, he was a small heavyweight, but man, he could fight.
Had to move up to heavyweight because he couldn't get any title fights at light heavyweight.
One of the best, and I'm not an advocate of this, but he had one of the best. I don't even know how to say it, but he was one of the guys that could throw a hook from a little bit further than you're supposed to throw it, but he would get away with it. He was some fighter, man.
Awesome.
June 18th, 1941. Joe Louis KO's Billy Conn in 13
Irish
for the
Billy
heavyweight
Conn.
boxing title.
Yep.
Man, that's like all these heavyweight fights back then. Like there wasn't in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. It was all about heavyweights. All about the heavyweights. At least
I mean, that is true. But the other call, it was, to me, the greatest era of heavyweights, and I say this with a little bit of caution, but I'd say it would be Ali, when you had Ali, Foreman, Frazier, even the bad guys.
yeah, that's 70s, right?
Yeah, you had guys like Bonavina, you had Henry Cooper, you had guys. They're not bad, but they were fringe guys. But
Jimmy Ellis,
I
Jimmy
think
Young.
the greatest division maybe ever was probably in the 50s of the middleweights. I mean, you can just go up and down. I mean, everybody was unbelievable. Basilio, I mean, just go on forever. Robinson, there were so many good guys. Just out of New York alone. I mean,
LaMotta.
Graziano, Tony Zale. I mean, forget it. You can go on forever. These guys are all.
But generally speaking,
Well,
when newspapers started to fly around before the telephones got real popular and word of mouth and newspapers and that, like it was all heavyweight fights. That's what drove boxing was the Joe Louis's fights and Rocky Marciano fights and that type of stuff. That was driving boxing. It wasn't the middleweight fights back then.
So there was a phrase, there's boxing and then there's heavyweight boxing.
Yeah.
People would always pay to watch the big guys. They were the attractions, and sometimes the undercards would be what stole the show.
Yeah.
I'm all for heavyweights myself. I think that,
Yeah,
like anybody below 140 should be a jockey.
I can't wait to beat you at basketball. Let's go, Grant.
Dude, oh my God.
Let's see.
If
June
you
19th,
dream about beating me, you better wake up and apologize.
June 19th, 1936. German boxer Max Schmeling KO's up-and-coming American heavyweight Joe Louis in 12 rounds.
Whoa.
Actually, Joe Lewis's first loss. He was 24-0 going into that fight, and got knocked out in 12.
And Joe Louis did something that was probably the hardest thing in boxing to do, and magnify it times 100. He came back and beat Schmeling. That's so hard to do, to beat a guy that beat you, and then literally, I mean, you're talking about the whole world was watching that fight because there was, that was during Hitler, during the.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah, it was crazy, and he came back.
Didn't he beat him in the first round?
Yeah,
knocked him out. He was also, if I remember correctly, the first guy to regain the heavyweight championship. Because at that time, when guys lost, they were just done. Yeah. He was the first guy to win it back.
And literally, the whole world was watching that fight, man.
We're running up against it. Let's go, Grant.
June 19th, 1992, Evander Holyfield beats Larry Holmes in 12 for the heavyweight boxing title.
I remember that.
That was a pretty good fight, actually. Right? It was a decent fight.
Then we're just going to go through
real quick on that fight. There was a what do you call it? I remember that. He hit him. That was Foreman. When Foreman fought Holyfield hit Foreman with like 22 unanswered punches, and
Foreman just took him.
It was crazy.
Oh, wow.
Then we'll go through birthdays real quick. June 13th, Texas native, actually, Mike Weaver, his birthday, born in Gatesville, Texas.
What a physique that guy.
I was going to say big, strong.
Nice guy, too. I was in camp. He was in Lennox Lewis's camp with me. What a great guy.
I was looking at a picture of that dude. That dude was ripped, man. That dude looked like he was on steroids.
We talked about it before.
Fight name was Hercules, and it made sense.
And you know what? Oh, I got a great trivia fact about Mike Weaver.
What is it?
He was the first ever college graduate heavyweight champion.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I thought
interesting.
that was Bone Crusher Smith.
It was Bone Crusher Smith. The guy, I'm sorry, that's being racist. All you black guys look alike. Sorry, it's Bone Crusher Smith.
Oh, you just corrected him?
Yeah, he's right.
More birthdays, Grant.
June 15th, Curtis Cokes.
Yeah.
American
Dallas guy.
Curtis Coates was good.
Born in Dallas.
Great coach, too.
June 16th is the birthday of the great, who we were just talking about, Roberto Duran, his birthday.
Panama, right?
And then, let's see, you got June 17th, Tommy Burns, Chucho Castillo, his birthday. And then June 19th is John Duddy, Irish boxer.
Irish John Duddy.
Man.
And then I wanted to bring this one up real quick. The death, June 14th, 1967, of Eddie Egan. I don't know if that name rings a bell to anybody, but Eddie Egan was the gentleman that won Olympic gold medal in boxing and as a bobsledder. Wow. So he's the only person to ever win a summer gold medal and a winter gold medal.
I know some trivia about that dude.
Go ahead.
He won the Olympic gold medal, boxing and bobsledding.
Wow.
Get this real quick.
So wait, was the winter? I have to ask a question. Was the boxing that was the Summer Olympics? And okay, because I was thinking maybe they just didn't have somebody say, "Hey, jump in," and he just jumped in. I did that one time. True story. True story.
We went from skiing to bobsledding on this show.
I was playing baseball in right field, and then I went and I threw the shot put. Then I threw the shot put. I went from the right field to the shot put.
He may have video. Let's see, Gary Salusi, Patrick. We want to thank Guido from New York, man, from the Bronx. If y'all have pictures or videos, man, please go to Lights Out with Lou Savarese. Send them to us. We'll put them up on the show. But man, we're already over it. We want to thank
big air hug, buddy.
Yeah, Grant Miles from West Coast, man. Really appreciate
When you tell somebody bring you back from California?
I'll be back next week.
No, but what's something you want to bring brought back from California?
What do you want?
I don't know.
Don't bring any Californians back.
Like if it was Florida, Walt Disney, I'd say Mickey Mouse ears, but New York, I'd say.
What part of Florida? California you in?
I'm like right out the windows downtown LA. So like I'm right in the middle.
I wouldn't mind a cool, and this sounds terrible, but I wouldn't mind a Dodgers hat, like a real Dodgers hat from over at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, it's not too far. I'll see what I can do on
Yankee
that.
Yankee hat. It's just for a collection.
Hey, real quick, y'all were talking about it earlier. Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. They got Deontay Wilder plus 220, Fury minus 275 on the odds.
All right, well, again, man, thanks Max Sports for putting this on. Grant, we will see you next week. Thanks for giving us the history as usual. Myself, Jeff Michael, we want to thank DeMarcus Jones. Thank you as always
Best
stepping
knowledge,
in.
Come grab a private lesson with him too, man. The guy, he's the most agile big man I've ever seen. Well, I don't know. This guy seemed to have split. Well, that was me. Sorry. Go ahead.
Savarese Fight Fit over here. Come see Lou Savarese. Come see Lou Savarese and DeMarcus Jones, man. But listen, next week, Wednesday, we'll be here. Same time, same bat time, same bat place. 8 p.m. Lights out with Lou Savarese, man. We'll see y'all. Late.
That was good, buddy.
Great show. Thank you.
Like a boss who died from the left, look, I caught you. All I get it, they bought you. Just don't forget what they taught you. The most vicious out the city, one for you. Look how